Well guys, I'm back and that means more Jeep stuff. So, got a lot done last week. Even though it was a short week, still got quite a bit done. Got the exhaust, alternator, here I go again, dynamo hooked up, got the wiring into the lights, and yeah, so I think what I'm going to concentrate on this week is let's try and get all the lighting finished. I need to get the back end sorted out. This is going to have like a basic turn signal indicator system. So what we're going to do is some of the actual original lamps, we are going to convert those. So they still keep the actual look to them, but they're a little bit more functional in modern traffic. And we have got a couple of sets of those kicking about, so yeah, I think that's what I'll get into, make a start with that today. So, but before I do that, I think I need to have a bit of a tidy up, you know. Things have gotten a little bit, let's just say, out of hand, so yeah. So, what I've been doing here is I've been wiring up the horn. Now I know this is not the correct horn, it's the one we've got for the moment. We will locate a correct one at some point. But got that done, so let's just give him a test. Watch your ears. So, we have a horn. Oh, there we have the horn mounted. And it works. So what I'm going to do next is, this switch needs to be mounted into there correctly. So, yeah, that's the next task. I need to elongate this hole a little bit and then we'll be able to get into this. First thing I'll do though is disconnect the battery so it's not constantly honking. So I've elongated the hole there and then I've just given it a coat of paint just around the edge of it where the bare metal was, just to stop any rust getting into it. So I'm going to let that dry, have some lunch, and then we're going to get back to it. Well, got the horn mounted there. Haven't drilled or changed anything, just basically made a little bracket to hold it so we can put an original one back on. And now have the button mounted there. I think I mentioned this earlier, but this was basically where the British military put the horns on the Jeeps. They did not have the central wire running down the steering column, so it works. Well, we've got the lights here painted. I'm just waiting them to dry, and then we'll put them together with a 12 volt orange bulb in there. So yeah, just let that sit there for the moment. What else? I think that's about it at the moment. In case you're wondering, yes, the ignition's on, but I do have the coil disconnected. I think what I'm going to do next is I might get to fitting these sealed beam units, so I can get these headlamp units all kind of buttoned up. If you saw the last video, you know that the sealed beams we've got are not quite a perfect fit, so we've got to do a bit of adjustment to them to get them in there. So nothing too major, just a couple of little cutouts to make in the actual housing themselves. So yeah, we're going to get that done next, I think. So, yesterday unfortunately got a lot of interruptions, so didn't get as far along as I'd like to have done, but what I did start was putting the wiring in for turn signals. Now, we've got this front section in, that will go down there, this guy will go over to the other side. Got this pigtail where we at? Got this pigtail here. Now he is going to go to the rear lights. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to follow the main harness down the length of the body and terminate it at the rear lights. So that's kind of the plan today. I want to get this finished. Want to start getting the lights actually put together and basically get as much of it done as possible. We don't have a switch yet for the turn signals, but I can get them mocked up, get everything tested, so the only thing left to do is actually connect the switch up. So yeah, that seems like a good plan today. Let's get to it. So that is now cabling that will go all the way to the back. Next step is just to figure out what we actually need there and what we don't. Oh, there we go. There's the cable there already. I'm just in the process of routing it under the body there. What I want to do is get this in and into place. Then what I may do is move on to the headlights to get them sorted out. I need the rear lamps to figure out exactly what we need to do to them to make this work. But I don't have them at the moment. My buddy Andy has them somewhere, and so we need to find them again. It's just after 6 this morning. He got in late last night, so I don't want to go knocking on his door to wake him up. It's yeah, so I'll carry on with as much of this as I can, see what I can do with the headlights, and then we will take it from there. Hopefully by then he'll be up and about. Well, that's everything now routed through the vehicle. I was going to mess with the headlights, but I think what I might do before I get into that is I might actually get the relay and everything set up under the dash. Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and do that first, and then basically all we need is the actual switch. I can show you the switch on the other Jeep, what it looks like. It's not a conventional stalk on the steering column. It's just like a little, oh, you'll see it in a moment. It's that guy just there. That's usually what everybody puts in, and so it gives you conventional indicators. But yeah, so that's what will go in shortly when we've got one, but I may as well go ahead and put all the wiring in up to that point anyway. Then that's that side of it all taken care of. Okay, so we have the little flasher relay here. Very basic system on these, easy to wire up. What I may do is I may actually include a small diagram on the main diagram that I'm working on, but in short, ground or negative, positive, and this one is what actually flashes. This goes to your indicator switch. So basically what we have is this will obviously go straight to ground. This will go to the actual power feed in, and this will go to the switch, and then the switch will split it off to either light. And that's it. Very simple, very basic. So what I'm doing is this positive, I am actually just going to take a feed directly off the headlamp switch, because we do have a good positive there. Just use one of these spare. Got a few of these extra cables spare, so I'm just going to use those just to keep it in, you know, as close to, well, obviously it's not factory, but you know, it looks the part anyway. So, and then I'll find a place under the dash somewhere to actually mount this, and we will take it from there. So yeah, now obviously one thing I do need to point out is that different brands may be slightly different on the layout of the pins, but generally for the most part, one of these will be ground, one of them will be positive. This one here, 9 times out of 10 on most electronic relays anyway, that one there is usually your feed wire to the indicator stalk, so, or switch, whatever you're using. Anyway, let's get to it. So currently working on these rear lights, and what I'm doing is figuring out how to get these rear bulbs in. Now, got the bulb holders there. Where are we at? These are the lenses which go in. Actually, these are upside down. Let's turn them the right way up. So, these lenses here, bulb holder will go in there, and in theory that'll pop into there. There's the other one, and like that. Then I'm using the original style bulb holder, which actually pops through that hole there. That sits in there. This plate actually goes over the top, holds it into place, and then we will have the red lens on top like that. This will be like a side light and brake light, and then that will go on there like that. So we'll have orange, there will be an orange bulb in there like turn signal, and we will have the red brake and stop and side light in there. So need to find a different lens from that one. So one thing I do have to do is I need to find a different lens, because I don't know if it shows up on camera or not, but they're actually a different shade. So I need to find either another one like that or another one like that. But I've got plenty of bits laying around here, so I should be able to make a reasonable setup. Okay, so I've got it basically worked out what I want to do with them. But for now, what I've done is I've actually sprayed them up, so they will sit there for a little while to dry. I'll then get the backing, the actual. So I have got a plan now. I've sanded, primed and sprayed the actual housings up. So I'm going to let those dry. Then what I'll do is I'll just basically start assembling them on the back of the Jeep. Use as much of the original wiring as I can. You can see there that loop of wire sticking out of the back, that rear light there. That is the harness that I made up for the turn signals. So that is, just got that stuck there. Just keep it out of the way for the moment. It's obviously way too long, but you know, it's okay for the moment. Yeah, rather too long than having to add bits on, so I'll cut it down to size when I'm ready. Okay, so this is what I've come up with. Just put that there, that one there. So, got that one in upside down, I know. Just work with me. So, this one here, this will be for the brake and the side light. And that will plug in from the other side. This is the original factory style connection. So obviously 12 volt bulb into there. Now that obviously sits there. Now the other side, we'll have a conventional bulb holder, something like that, which will sit in there. Then that will sit right there. Now, this here, this bulb holder, does have to earth on that bolt just there. So I will put another, just a conventional bolt in there. And but probably the way I'll do this is I'll bolt the back of these housings into place first. Then we'll get this bottom one in and then the top one. So, but yeah, that's kind of how it's going to sit. Turn signal, side and stop light. No, that's going to, it'll work. It'll work fine. But now all I've got to do is, I think what I'll do, no, I'm going to get these all put together and bolted on first. Then I'll route and connect up the cabling. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. Okay, so do have that one installed, but I'm having to make a slight alteration. Shot off to the store while these were drying, and picked up the bulbs. Obviously that one's in a little bulb holder. There is a reason for that. These, what did I do with it? Anyway, that one there, the original Jeep bulb holder, it didn't notice this until just I tried the bulbs in, but it doesn't have the staggered pin arrangement. You know, on brake and stop and side light bulbs, the pins on the bulb are staggered, so they can only go in one way. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't work with that one. So I'm having to come up with a new idea, and this is it. Basically, a couple of these other bulb holders, which the bulbs do fit in correctly, and they slot nicely in behind there. So I've got this one just about complete. And all I've got to do is just tighten it up a little bit, because it does wobble in there, and it does need to make a ground to this silver backing plate. But yeah, that is going to work. Unfortunately, the only other one I've got is this one here, which is in less than ideal condition, but at the moment, because I want to get on with these, we can always change them at a later date. Right now, I really need to get moving on with this. Ideally it should have been finished by the beginning of August, but obviously that didn't happen. We're nearing the beginning of September. I've only got 2 more weeks on this. Transit is ready for inspection at MOT, so that's off to one side. So in the next 2 weeks, I want to get the transit MOT'd on the road. I want to get this as close to completion as I possibly can, because the year is getting on and I need to start this. I've got to get this VW started. So rather than working on it here, I am actually going to be taking this home. We're going to load it up, within the next couple of weeks, and I'm going to get it over to home, so I can work there on the night time a lot easier than I can here, and then I can work on this during the day. And ideally, I want to get all the paint and bodywork done by the end of September, by the middle of October, sorry. We are nearing the beginning of September right now. I think it's, is it September the 1st tomorrow? I don't remember. It's we're right on the cusp of 1st of September, so I want this painted and basically ready for assembly by the middle to the end of October at the latest. So yeah, we are having to really move along with this. That said, I mean, we should have the electrics done in this video, lights and everything working. Only thing we don't have is the actual switch for the turn signals. Everything else, we are going to go with the English style sealed beam units. Obviously it's got those little nubbins on there, so I need to make cutouts in the headlamp housings. Should have all the brake, stop, side lights and everything on the turn signals on the rear complete. Hopefully today. It's getting on a bit. It might end up finishing it off tomorrow, but it'll be completed soon. Only addition that we need is on many of the British style Jeeps, they actually had like a running light that sat kind of up here rather than being built into there. So those still have to be sourced. I'll put the wiring in, but yeah, I'll put the wiring in, and then it's literally just a case of bolting them on and connecting them up. Other things to do. I have still not put I have still not put water in this radiator. I need to get that done. What else? Coil is to hook back up. Because it's working with the electrics, I don't want to have the coil sitting on all day long, cooking away. It's handbrake cable, parking brake and speedo cable have both got to be hooked up. Lock for the glove box needs to go on. These latches for the windshield, they need to go on. Obviously the windshield glass has to go in. And it's just little bits and pieces. So potentially, I don't see any reason why this should not be a running vehicle within the next 2 weeks. So yeah. Anyway, let me put the camera down and let's rejigger these rear lights. Well, after much jiggering and pokering, I've got her in there. That took a little bit of work. Bulb holder was not too cooperative, but it's gone in and I have had the bulb on the battery and everything works. So yeah, next step is I'll mount it to the body and then we will start looking at what to do next. Well, came across these boxes with bits of lights in, but have found a way better bulb holder for this other side, so I'm not going to have to mess about with that rusty and all corroded and nasty one. So yeah, I'm going to get this fitted, then I'll figure out which wire goes to where. Just a little update on the wiring diagram. I do have it ready, but before I actually go live with it, I'm double checking everything. I want to make sure everything that I've done is correct, and it, so yeah, don't want any mistakes with it. So yeah, I'm just being very thorough. I'm just going over everything. The only thing left really to check on it now is the charging system. Basically, I've gone over everything up to this point, and we need to get the engine running again and just double check that what's been done on the Lucas style voltage regulator here is actually correct. I'm 99.9% sure it is. I had an original Lucas wiring diagram, and basically all I've done is I've wired it up the same way as it would have been wired up in, say, I don't know, an old MG or something. So it should be correct, but before I go live with the wiring diagram, I want to be 100% certain about that. So that's where the hold-up is right at this moment. Okay, so now we have that one complete. Obviously I'm not putting the cover and everything on yet until I actually have the made sure everything is working. Still have the wire to connect up down there, but that's quite easy. That's pretty straightforward. Main thing now is take this one back out on this side and basically repeat the process, and yeah, we should have rear lights. Well, so far so good. We've got the backs in. Try this again. Take two. Okay, let's try it this time. So put that side light there. There we go. Yeah, these switches, right, so we've now got side lights. Turn the side lights off. Let's put something heavy on the brake pedal and see if we've got brake lights. Okay, so we now have stop lights. I have wired the switch and I have done a little bit of rewiring on the actual light switch. The reason being is, being a vehicle that was designed to be used during wartime, you can do things on the switch such as switch the brake lights and everything off. And we don't really want that today. We want the brake lights to work basically whenever you put your foot on the brake. Don't have to worry about messing about with the light switch. So I've bypassed the circuit which does that. So that is brake lights. Now I've temporarily, I just bridged the switch under there until I could just double check them. So that should be the brake lights out, which it is. Excellent. So the next thing to test is side lights. So one click. And there we have side lights. Excellent. On the upside, the wiring is very simple to switch around. It's 2 wires on the switch, and it's back to the way it rolled out of the factory. So yeah, I'm quite satisfied with how this is actually coming about so far. So yeah. Next thing, I will temporarily hook up the turn signals and see if they work. So because we don't have the switch or anything yet, what I've temporarily done is hooked up the 2 rear turn signals, the indicators. Now, this will, when we've got the switch, this will be left and right, but at the moment it's just connected to the 2 rear ones just to give it a quick test. So let's hook the battery up. I can hear a relay clicking. Yeah, that's cool. I can live with that. Obviously, when we get the actual switch and everything in, we will have left and right. As I said, these 2 are just temporarily hooked together. So yeah, we have rear turn signals. So what I'm going to do next is get these lenses and everything finished off back here. Got a couple of little bits to cut out. We'll get them all put together, and then that's it. We'll call it a day with that. And then we will move on to the front ones. The front ones are not too difficult, or they shouldn't be anyway. I've got everything done in there. That is the actual cable. Is that, no, that's the earth. Oh, that's the earth cable. Basically, all I've got to do is this yellow wire here goes into there, and same on this side. Oh, actually, I've already got a cable in there. But anyway, basically, there's a yellow wire up here somewhere. There he is. He'll connect this guy down here, and same on that side. And then that's the 2 front ones done. And that's basically all the turn signals and everything hooked up. I know if you're looking at the factory wiring diagram, these yellow cables with the 2 black traces, they are normally for the side lights or running lights. In this case, I am using them for the turn signals basically. We are putting running lights on here. They will mount up here, and I will put a separate feed in for them. Well, there's the first one fitted. And he looks a little crooked. I'll have to straighten him up, but yeah, he looks the part. It works. Anyway, it's been a long day. I've gotten a lot done. I'm going to pack it up for tonight and get back to this tomorrow. So yeah, I'll finish that one off tomorrow there, and hopefully we'll get the front ones all sorted out. Well, guys. Obviously I've moved everything inside, and I think I'm going to call it for tonight. I'm not sure if you can hear, but it started raining, so I think that's a good time to end it for today. However, this is turning into a slightly longer video than I had anticipated. So I think I am actually going to call this one here and maybe call this lighting part 1 or something like that. So yeah, still got bits to do on this, but obviously we'll get there during the rest of the week. So yeah, there we have it. You know the drill, keep those algorithms happy. Yeah, come back for part 2 and have a good one.